Dear audience, good evening. We are back after a gap. Welcome to the Leadership in Action series, where we interview leaders from different fields. Last year, I interviewed Dr. Dhananjay Kelkar, the medical director of Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital. Today, we have another renowned surgeon with us, Dr. Raghunath Godbole, who is a renowned surgeon, gastrointestinal surgeon, and one of the pioneers of laparoscopic surgery. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I really want to thank you for doing this interview today.
It's my pleasure.
Trekking and mountaineering is one of his passions, and recently he's been to the Himalayas for 2 weeks. We'll cover that aspect of his life in the interview soon. So let's dive straight into it. Tell us about your medical journey in brief. You were a meritorious student from BJ Medical College. Who influenced you to take up medicine and excel in it?
Long ago in my school days, my grandfather used to tell me about his friend who was famous surgeon of Pune that time. Name was Dr. K.C. Gharpure. And he used to do all types of surgeries. He was a real general surgeon of those old days. And he used to do surgeries of all organs and all the areas in the body. So I got, so to say, fascinated about being a surgeon right from my school days because of those stories from my grandfather, as well as my grandfather took me to his house and hospital, and I had a brief meeting with him also. So that was the beginning point of my inspiration to be a surgeon. Of course, in my school days, I was one of the meritorious students, but I never stood first in academics. But I used to excel in subjects like drawing, physical training, and handicraft or hasta vyavasaya. So combined with those marks, I always used to stand first in my school, that is NMU High School. And minus those other subjects, I used to be fifth or sixth.
What are the exceptional experiences you still remember as a surgeon? You must have faced some complicated and difficult surgeries. And could you please narrate a few incidents for us?
During my training of 3 years in Sassoon Hospital, that time we used to face many rare emergency situations. And my guru, Professor Manohar Joshi, he was expert in abdominal surgery. So in our unit, many challenging abdominal surgery cases used to come as emergency or as well as planned operations. And I remember many of them still now. Of course, those were the days where laparoscopy or minimally invasive surgery was not available, and we used to open abdomen fully and do whatever needed inside the abdomen. So there were many such cases to remember. But afterwards, when I entered my own surgical practice in my own hospital, I distinctly remember a few cases which were very rare, so to say, and challenge to me as a surgeon. So one lady came to our hospital who was she thought that she was pregnant, but 10 months and she was not delivering any baby. So actually her abdominal distension was because of a very rare tumor from adrenal gland, and that secretes hormones. So there was a pregnancy-like false situation created, and we operated on that and removed that like a fetus or baby size tumor out, and thereafter she was normal and she was able to conceive and have normal babies. So that was one of them. Another case I remember where one lady patient had pregnancy in the lower abdomen, and huge spleen, the organ spleen, got enlarged, and it was so huge that it occupied the upper abdomen and touched the pregnant uterus. But it was necessary to remove that spleen. Otherwise, there was great risk to mother as well as the fetus. So during 6 months pregnancy, 7 months pregnancy, I operated and removed that huge spleen, which was more in size than the pregnant uterus. And then she survived. Full-term baby delivery was possible, and those were some challenging cases. There are so many, but I cannot go on telling because of the constraint of the time.
The note in your consulting room has gone viral and has become famous on WhatsApp again, about you charging voluntary consulting fees to the patients. So was this a conscious decision, and is this your way of giving back to society and helping patients in need?
Yes, of course, it was a conscious decision, but I will tell you when was it taken. I have already told you that I used to do some sort of charity in my hospital right from the day one. But when I completed 25 years of my surgical practice and my hospital, I became, so to say, senior consultant. And usually what happens is that the more senior the surgeon or physician is, the fees go on increasing, which is but natural. I don't blame anybody for that. But what will happen if that rigid fee structure is continued by a senior consultant, then some poor and needy patients will be cut off from my practice because they cannot approach me with that sort of fees. So I was thinking in my mind what to do about that problem, how to solve that problem. So on 1st January 2009, when I completed that 25 years mark, I also finished primary duties towards my family. My daughter Manasi, my son Mihir, they had completed their education. They were about to get married, both of them married. And so finishing primary responsibilities towards your family, then you can do some continuous philanthropic work, and that starts at the OPD level. If all patients can come to me, then only some of them, those who need operation, I can operate. So I thought that my consultation fee, instead of increasing because of seniority, I will make it voluntary, totally voluntary. I will not see. Before that, I used to give concession to needy patients after confirming their credentials as a needy patient. But in OPD, it is not very practical to do such type of thing for every patient. So for OPD consultation, I made it and follow up. So total OPD charges I made voluntary on patient's part. So that signboard is right from those days. So I have completed now 15 years after that. But I did not advertise it in any way. There was no function to start that activity. I silently started. And for this annual gathering, the custom was the contribution, which is apart from school fees, was voluntary. But every student must take part. So this idea is quite similar to that, and maybe the roots are from school days.
As you said, you have been doing this since a long time. It's been 15 years. I feel each and every patient must have felt gratitude reading this note that please pay fees as per your wish to the doctor. And just reading this must have lowered their anxiety. And I'm sure they must have expressed it to you in some ways. So what was
Yes, of course, patients are very happy, but I am also very happy. Yeah, that removes the barrier between patient and a senior doctor, and they feel very free and at home to come to me for any abdominal complaint, whatever it is. So that barrier is gone, and many patients express their happiness and gratitude, sometimes with me, sometimes with my receptionist outside or assistant doctor. And of course, that creates a goodwill which cannot be measured. The other side is, of course, the money part, financial aspect. Many of my colleagues also ask me that what you have gained or lost. So I cannot measure what I have gained. But on an average, yeah, whatever I should have got as a senior consultant, the fees, I get approximately 33%. But I don't calculate in my mind. But of course, there has to be some audit also, what you are doing. So when I started, I did not have any such calculation in my mind. I was ready to be at zero also. So when you make it voluntary, it can be zero. It can be more than your consultation fee also. But no patient goes without paying. They pay according to their two things, according to their ability to pay and according to what advice they get from me as a surgeon, whether they are happy with that advice or not. So that assessment is left to the patients. I am very happy, patients are very happy. And I am going to continue that forever. So when I decided, it was not for limited period, not for only one day in a week. It is anywhere and all the time. I have decided to do like that till I am in practice. And from my side, I never advertised it in any way. But some of the patients, I remember about, say, 5 years back, first, one patient put it, that photo of my, that notice, he put it, of course, with my permission, he put it on WhatsApp, and then it became viral first that time. And there were 2-3 TV channels coming to me and taking my interview. But that was not at the start. That also was about 7-8 years after I did that. But it was not my generation for any advertisement. The patient did that. And now, time to time it appears on social media, because one who reads it first time may be he's surprised, he's happy, and he or she puts it, and then it goes viral on several groups. So that happens, and that is not in my hand. Then I have no control over it. Although I don't want that publicity, but there is no control. You know how social media now are in action.
So as you said, you are happy, the patients are happy, and from time to time some patient puts it on social media and it gets viral, because for that patient it's a new thing. What was your thought process behind this Yatha Shakti Aichik concept?
Doctors I know, they are doing consultation free also. So what I am doing is not extraordinary or exceptional. And most of them are doing with very good or reasonable fees. So these are two extremes. Total free is on one hand, and rigid fee structures, of course proportionate to their qualification and seniority. These are two extremes. So I found a golden mean or via media in between the two, and that mean is decided by patient, not by me. It is not that I have put it, say, I will give 50% concession to every patient. So then I have to define my original fee. Then it becomes, so it is left to patient. That is very easy. There are sometimes surprises also. So for example, if my first consultation fee is 1,000, if I put it, some rare patients give more than that. And then couple of times I asked them, so why you are giving me more fee than usual standard practice? So they said that we appreciated your advice, and it was my advice avoided their operation, which was advised by somebody else, but I thought that it is not necessary, and that decision was right in them. So they thought as a they give me a gesture of gratefulness towards my consultation, you can say.
What gives you the stamina and strength to keep going at this age? How do you rate physical fitness vis-a-vis mental fitness?
At this age, you have not uttered, but I will tell you, I am now 69 years, running 69 years, and I am still in full-fledged professional activity as well as my hobby activity of trekking, mountaineering. So I have not retired in any sense. Most of my colleagues, now all of them are beyond 65. Those who were in any service, especially government service, they are all retired. Those in private practice, many of them retired during COVID times because there was a recommendation from WHO to Pune Municipal Corporation, all government and this thing, that doctors above 65 should not participate in treating COVID because they are themselves at risk. So many of them retired at that time. Yes, some of them, my colleagues, are still in practice also, but they are in minority. What keeps me going is that as long as I am healthy, I can do justice by consulting people and by performing operations and curing patients. Why to stop? Because in profession, there is no specific moral or legal retirement age. Moral or legal retirement. It is up to that person. But in surgery as well as in trekking, both this profession and my hobby, it lot depends on stamina, fitness. Otherwise, you can't go on doing these things. I will give you an example. A doctor who is a consultant in medicine or non-operative specialties, they can go longer because they have to examine the patient and give advice or give prescription. The surgeon's duty starts afterwards. When I give advice to certain person that this and this operation is needed, then my duty starts and patient's duty almost finishes. I have to perform that operation, give the expected result. So this is the difference between medical and surgical specialties in our profession. So for that, extreme mental and physical fitness is required, as well as this hobby. Now, if you compare it with the hobby of painting, which I used to have in my childhood, not now, it is that way passive. It doesn't require very much physical fitness and stamina. But trekking mountaineering requires that physical and mental fitness at every step. So fortunately, because of the healthy lifestyle, I have been able to maintain my own health and stamina. And therefore, I am fully engaged in my profession as a surgeon and my hobby as a trekker and mountaineer. And I intend to continue at least till my age of 75. So 6 more years, definitely. Thereafter, I don't know. I may continue, or it depends on again fitness. If I don't consider fit myself, I will have to stop. But I think up to 75, there is no intention or thought of stopping. Both things. Both things. Yeah, I mentioned healthy lifestyle, which is very important. And actually, if somebody asks me any advice about surgery or trekking mountaineering, I tell them you have to have a very healthy lifestyle without any vices like smoking, drinking, abusive drugs. That is extremely important. Without healthy lifestyle, you yourself cannot be healthy person. So I have been able to achieve that. I don't have any common diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, asthma, nothing. I don't require a single tablet to maintain my health. It is all through the healthy lifestyle only.
Let's talk about your second love, trekking, mountaineering, and the Himalayas. So, trekking, mountaineering is your second love, or let's say you love equally as medicine and surgery.
There is no first and second. It is all equal. Both are equal.
Right. So, when did the mountains beckon you, and how did you start on this journey?
Yeah. During my school days, there was no word like trekking. That is a relatively new term. It was mountaineering or hiking. They used to say hiking. Hiking means wandering in nature and outdoors without very specific aim. And mountaineering is climbing difficult mountains with a specific aim of reaching the top. So This was a difference. But without hiking or trekking, you cannot directly do mountaineering. So in school days, there was one great person, my guru, you can, Dr. Bapu Kaka Patwardhan. He was unmarried throughout his life. He was doctor from Armed Forces Medical College, and his hobby was trekking and mountaineering, especially in Uttarakhand part of Indian Himalaya. So he was inspiration to us, and he used to teach principles of outdoor hiking and skills of survival in nature. Though that time he used to gather youngsters like us and teach them, and he used to take us to Sahyadri Hills. So he was my original guru. But after going to medical college, there was a brief halt. Because getting admission was tough. Then first year was tough. But in second year MBBS, again it is a little leisure year. Me and a few of my friends, colleagues that time, we started BJ Medical College Mountaineering Club, and started trekking in Sahyadri Mountains. Once a month we used to go. And I am very delighted and proud to say that that organization, BJ Medical Mountaineering Club, is still going on in BJ Medical College. So that was founded in 1976. So that 24 plus this 24, 48 hours that is continuing still. And occasionally I go to college to see what students are doing. So that continued. Then again, when I passed MBBS, that learning surgery, that is course of MS. So I lived in Sassoon Hospital. I got married also. There was again an interruption in this my hobby and love. Then I started my own hospital. So first 12 years, up to my age of 40, there was a long gap. And before that, I want to mention, during my MBBS, finishing after MBBS course, I wanted to do basic mountaineering course at Uttarkashi or Darjeeling. So I applied for that. But my father and grandfather told me that, look, you want to be a surgeon. If you divert your attention and you learn mountaineering, you cannot have both these things going together. First, your aim should be to be a surgeon. You cannot be a surgeon and mountaineer at the same time. So forget basic mountaineering course. So I was not, so to say, allowed to go there. But that time I got a little disappointed of that decision. But later on, in retrospect, I think that that was a very right decision, because I concentrated on my career. I passed MS in first attempt. I became qualified surgeon and started my own hospital. So during those first 12 years of my surgical profession, I maintained my health by going to gym regularly, by going to Vetal Hill every alternate day, by going to Simagad almost once at least a month. I maintained. But my going into Himalaya for mountaineering remained a silent dream till my age of 40. So at the age of 40, again, when I got established as a surgeon in my own career and hospital, I did my first mountaineering trek and expedition at my age of 40 in 1995. And in college days, there was also another role model or guru who guided us in starting that BJ Medical Mountaineering Club. His name is Dr. Lala Telan. Actually, he is gynecologist by qualification and profession, but he was part of the first successful Indian Everest expedition way back in 1966. So, being a gynecologist and also mountaineer, he could achieve that. He did mountaineering course in America, and when he came back, he was selected in a predominantly army expedition to Everest, and he went there as a doctor. So he was also my role model. So when I started at the age of 40, I started organizing and planning my own treks and expeditions. And after doing about 7-10 of them, I was invited to be doctor of proper mountaineering expedition. It was by an organization called Sad Mountaineers Mumbai, and with them I went to real mountain climbing expeditions as a doctor. I remember many mountains like Satopant, Mukut Parvat, Gangotri, Three, and many more with them. So, as a doctor, my duty was to go and stay up to base camp, which is usually 5,000 meters or 16,500 feet, and stay there and look after the health and fitness of the climbers who climb from base camp to summit and come back. So, during that, I was stationed at base camp, but the need be, I went to some altitude, came back. So I looked after them as a doctor. So those were real mountaineering expeditions I participated. So I developed this hobby at the age of 40, which is late actually. But I should tell those who want to pursue that it is never too late. It is never too late. You can start at the age of 40 also the difficult hobby like trekking and mountaineering. And after that started at the age of 40, I have continued for last, how many now? 30 years. Almost 30 years. Without a gap of single year, I have done either trek or expedition in Himalaya continuously. Once started, I never stopped. And initially, I used to take holiday only once a year because it takes about 15 days for any Himalayan trek or expedition, at least 15 days. So that time hospital was closed. So initially for say 10 years, it was only once a year. Then I increased to twice a year, then thrice a year. And this year, first time, I have gone 4 times. So fourth will be happening in this October. So gradually I am increasing that activity, and little bit, of course, when I am not here, that surgical practice is zero.
It's said that once you have seen the Himalayas, you eternally fall in love with them. Is that true? I've heard the same thing from my father. Which trekking or mountaineering expedition has been the most memorable for you?
What your father has said is exactly perfectly true. Once you visit Himalaya, maybe as a traveler, trekker, mountaineer, whatever, or nature lover, it repeatedly calls you because that is the beauty and grandeur of Himalaya. It is the greatest mountain chain in the world, and we are very lucky to have it at our northern border. So yes, repeated calls are there and you respond to that. It is very true. Amongst my treks and expeditions, I remember a couple of them as a very memorable one. Now, in trekking and mountaineering, there is one sort of a undefined dividing line. And in Himalaya, it is 6,000 meters or 20,000 feet above sea level. So, whatever you do below that is usually called as either trekking or high altitude trekking. Okay? And above 20,000 feet, there is no trek route. And all the peaks are named, almost all of them are named. And when you climb that, you are like called as a mountaineer. So for many years, I was doing only trekking and I was going in mountaineering expedition as doctor. So I had an ambition in my mind that at least I should climb one 6,000er. It is called as 6,000er, 6,000 meter high peak in order to call myself a mountaineer in true sense. So during my trekking visits to Himalaya, 3-4 times I planned to climb nearby such 6,000 meter peaks, and I failed. I failed as an individual as well as my colleagues and my team also could not do that. So of course it is difficult, and none of us had formal training like basic mountaineering course or advanced mountaineering course. So ultimately, about 7 years ago, there is one peak called as Dhampus Peak in Nepal, Himalaya, and it is to the north of very famous peak called Dhaulagiri. Of course, Dhaulagiri is more than 8,000 meters high mountain and very famous, but this one is to the north of that, and it doesn't require technical climbing, means fixing of ropes, using some gadgets to climb up and down. That is not required. It can be climbed with sheer mental will, stamina, fitness, but no technical gadgets required. So, at my age of 62 and on my 62nd birthday, I could summit that 6,000 meter peak at last, and that was my first expedition as a solo. Means there was nobody from Pune or around with me, because our team has failed 4 or 5 times because of various reasons. Sometimes weather not favorable. Sometimes any member from the group is not able to. So it is a group activity. So ultimately, I decided to go alone and solo. So that is supposed to be difficult in trekking and mountaineering. Doing solo trek is also difficult. So solo climbing of a mountain. Of course, I was supported by one Sherpa guide called Kombu and 4 porters who carried all other material, tent and food. And so at the age of 62, I could climb a peak more than 6,000 meters, more than 20,000 feet. And also after a gap of 2 years, I climbed another 6,000er called Zozongo in Ladakh. That was also one of my personal achievements. So after these 2 climbs above 20,000 feet, I now can officially call myself, and others will call myself as a mountaineer. Till that time, it is technically only high altitude trekker. So those 2 were very memorable and also a personal record.
Tell us about the peculiar and extraordinary experiences you had while trekking the Himalayas. How was it spotting the snow leopard?
Yes, there are many rare species of birds and animals in Himalaya which are found only in Himalaya because they are residents of high altitude. And of course, the number one species is snow leopard because it is not found below altitude of for 13,000-14,000 feet. And very elusive animal to spot and still more difficult to film or photo it. So there is another organization in Pune called Foliage, and on my suggestion, they organize special snow leopard sighting and filming expedition. And that was in about say 12 years ago. And it has to be in winter. All the other treks and expeditions, they happen in summer, either before monsoon or autumn, that is after monsoon. But January, February are winter months, very cold, too much snow everywhere. So snow leopards, they come down to these altitudes, 13,000-14,000 feet, only during winter because they get their prey at lower altitude, like mountain sheep and other. And otherwise they are still higher and dispersed. So in winter they come down and they can be easily spotted. So we went to Spiti, and there is a village called Kibber which is at an altitude of 13,000 feet. There we stayed and we had 4 or 5 days. Every day we went out, and the locals had an idea where they are likely to be seen because they are very much camouflaged. But we could spot them with spotting telescope, and we could photograph them with tele lenses. And I have a couple of them with me. That was a very thrilling experience, seeing a snow leopard, and that was one thrilling experience. Another experience I should mention is we went to a very rarely visited site in Himalaya that is called as Nanda Devi Sanctuary. Very few people know about this. The highest peak in India is called Nanda Devi, and it is not a 8,000er, it is 7,800 meters or about 25,000 feet in height. Not great compared to Everest and all, but it is very beautiful mountain and situated. It is surrounded by 2 circles of mountains, about 36 peaks surround it, and it forms a natural fortress-like thing, which is called as natural sanctuary or Nanda Devi Sanctuary. There has been no human settlement there from ages till now. And it was forbidden to climb that for some other reasons I can tell afterwards. So in 2005 and 2006, I organized an trek into that sanctuary, only outer part, not very near. And it was such a good experience that Gadwal and Kumaon Mandal Vikas Nigam, they allowed only our group of 12 to enter and come back. It was 8 days trek, and support staff was with from that government. And we entered that and we saw so many birds and animals. Apart from that, we experienced two very rare natural phenomena. One was, it is called as broken spectre or circular rainbow. Normally rainbow are half circle, no? And they are seen in the sky on the horizon. But rarely in the sky you see full circle rainbow around some object like aeroplane. So this is been described by various nature lovers, and sometimes the aeroplane travelers, they see it on the cloud. So clouds have to be below you, and you can see circular rainbow on the cloud. So there, while we were trekking at altitude of about 15,000 feet, sun was behind and clouds were below in the valley. So around the shadow of my own head, I saw a circular rainbow, just like it is shown around the Ram or Krishna in pictures. So I actually saw a halo of 7 color, not only one color, around shadow of my own head. So I felt so much thrilled, and more than that, I could photograph it. I have a photograph of that, and within few minutes, as the clouds disappeared, the whole thing disappeared. So very fortunate to see that and photograph that. And another thing was that on Manas Sarovar, while our Kailas Manas trek on Manas Sarovar, I saw a phenomenon which was described in previous book, that a cloud comes, a solitary cloud comes, and then lingers above the lake, and there is a rainfall from that single cloud. Now, such thing you don't see here, because whole sky is clouded, and then there is a rain all around. But that plateau, Tibetan plateau and Manas Sarovar is such a vast expanse that clouds cannot cover whole Manas Sarovar at a time. So isolated clouds come and go, and in between they shed their water. So that is called as single cloud rainfall, which also I could see and photograph.
I'm sure we can go on and on about the Himalayas, but I'll take a last question. Did you have any mysterious or spiritual experiences during your many visits to the Himalayas, especially the inner Kora or production of Kailas Parbat?
Such mysterious and spiritual experiences are described by many others. But in my now 49 visits to Himalaya, I have not experienced exactly what you are asking. Now, if you say that a circular rainbow around the shadow of my own head is a spiritual experience, I will not call it any spiritual, because I am not a spiritual person, number one, and that is a described scientific phenomena. Although it is very rare. Now somebody may say that you are a great person, that's why you could say it is not like that. It is a science. So I have not experienced any supernatural phenomena which cannot be explained by normal or present day science. No, I have not. But I have experienced many times a strange feeling of being lonely and in a stage of introspection automatically. Because when you are trekking or mountaineering, many times you are alone. Means your colleagues are here and there. They are sometimes with you, sometimes not with you. So it is like a experience of meditation and great introspection. So that way, the trekking and mountaineering is a spiritual experience to me, but nothing paranormal or which cannot be described or explained by modern science. Yeah, I have seen few sadhus. One was near Gosai Kund Lake in Nepal. Another was in Gangotri Gomukh area. They were sitting there without much clothes, they only soil on their, and they were meditating. And I tried to go and talk with them, but they did not respond. So I have seen some sadhus which are living a life which is really so hard that cannot be explained by normal physical fitness of a normal person. Yeah. And also myself, I have an experience of swimming to very small distance in Manas Sarovar Lake in Tibet and Tso Moriri Lake in Ladakh, both at altitude of 15,000 feet above sea level. And I had practiced cold water bath much before that, so I could do that. And thereafter, I had an experience of intense shivering about 15-20 minutes, and thereafter I again became like a normal person. But these are scientifically explainable experiences, nothing supernatural or great spiritual about it, I should say.
What is your wife's role in your personal and professional success? And what has been your role as a father and husband in giving direction to family aspirations?
Yes, this is, I think, last but not the least important question, because in order to pursue a profession of surgery as well as hobby of trekking mountaineering, without support from your spouse, it is impossible. Now, I have been very fortunate to have my wife who has been supportive, not only supportive, but actually participating in both these things. Now, she is not a doctor by profession. She is a graduate, arts graduate in German language, nothing to do with medicine and surgery. But because my hospital was a part of my home on the ground floor, no, she started coming there and helping me. And there are certain situations while running a private hospital, sometimes a nurse cannot come on the duty, sometimes assistant in theatre cannot come. But we have to continue the show with equal efficiency. So slowly she started learning about the administrative part of the hospital as well as helping in OPD as well as in theatre preparations for the operation and all that. So after a few years, there was a diploma in hospital administration started by Pune University. So immediately she got enrolled and she completed that diploma in 1 year. And then she was officially qualified to do hospital administration, and she started doing that. And she has been doing that for so many years till I stopped my main hospital in COVID times. So about 30 years at least, she has been my supporter and in hospital, as well as she learned thereafter to assist in operations also during emergencies and some routine procedures. Now, I have not deliberated much on that. During my career as a surgeon, laparoscopic and endoscopic surgery got developed in the world scenario, and I also learned that by going to various countries, and I started doing that is called as minimally invasive surgery. Means without opening the abdomen you can do either endoscopically or laparoscopically many operative procedures. So for that, now in open surgery I directly see inside the abdomen and operate, but in laparoscopic surgery somebody has to hold the laparoscope and camera so that I see what is inside. So she learnt holding the laparoscope and camera, which was not directly involved in any cutting or suturing, but unless I see what I want to see, I cannot operate. So she became my eyes in laparoscopic surgery, and she understood well what I wanted to see inside, because she had been seeing and assisting open operations also. So that was her great achievement in spite of not being a doctor, that hospital administration. And also the hospital administration part is that is headache, no? As a surgeon, I am very happy performing surgery, consulting, but who have come on the duty out of staff, what machine has gone wrong. So she used to manage all that part, administrative part, and most of the staff in hospital is a female staff, no, nurses, Aya. So she controlled everything. So I was able to concentrate on my duty as a surgeon. That is profession part. And also in trekking, she, I am very proud to mention that she also liked trekking. She started coming with me. And if I have done 48, 49 treks and expeditions in Himalaya, she has done half the number, 24.
Okay.
Of late only she has stopped because of some knee problem. But she has done also 24 treks in Himalaya, not mountaineering expedition, but treks. And she has come along with me to Everest Base Camp. She has come to Kailas Manas Sarovar Yatra trek. So they were also difficult ones. So she has done that. So there was no opposition from the domestic front, but encouragement and participation.
How have you avoided the glitz and glamour associated with some top surgeons and doctors?
Yeah, glitz and glamour. There is a traditional teaching in our homes that you should be prasiddhi paramukh. Means you should not go after glamour. If you continue to do your profession, your duty, your hobby very consistently and very truthfully, fame and glamour will automatically come. It will not come initially, it will come after years, and you don't go after it, it will come after you. So I am now experiencing it of late. But some people now it is current trend that whatever you do, first you advertise, then you do. It is exactly what I have been doing and what I have been taught in my family, that you do it first, and whatever you get, appreciation, fame, you should not be after it and you should not pay for it. Okay. So nowadays it is possible, everything you can get after paying and spending. But that is modern day principle. I have not done that. Even that voluntary fee activity, I started silently. I could have done a function and called some mantri to inaugurate this activity. And I had many acquaintances. It was easily possible, but I have not done. I can quote a very good sentence from a very famous book. Reynold Messner is supposed to be one of the greatest mountaineers of all times, and he climbed all 14 8,000 meter peaks in Himalaya for the first time. And he has written a very beautiful book called All 14 8,000ers, his experiences and his achievements and failures. So there are some good quotations in that. So one quote says that fame is the product of grand deeds. So it is an automatic product. You don't do it for the sake of fame, it will happen. So that is his one of the sentences in his book, which I remember.
You teach in Pune University a diploma in mountaineering on safety techniques to be adopted during mountaineering from a medical perspective. How has this experience been?
Just couple of years ago, after COVID, Pune University, along with Guardian Giripremi Institute of Mountaineering and Giripremi Sanstha, they started this diploma in mountaineering and allied sports, DAMS, DMS. That is first in India. No other university has that diploma, and now presently third batch is going. It is 1 year diploma where all aspects of trekking mountaineering are taught, and I am faculty for medical aspects and safety during these adventure activities, because it is neither hobby nor sports, or you can call it both hobby and sports, but it is a dangerous sport. It involves risk. So how to plan and how to execute, avoiding most of the risk. Hmm? So it is called as calculated risk, and most of the aspects are medical aspects. No, they depend on your fitness, they depend on your judgment, what to do and what not. So I cover that aspect only, the medical aspects, how to avoid injuries and accidents in mountains, and how to treat a peculiar condition called as mountain sickness, which happens only at high altitude. It is not experienced at sea level or what. So that is my special study subject, and because of my experience of these more than 45 trekking and mountaineering expeditions, I acted both as a leader and medical officer. I have a lot of experience of avoiding these problems and treating these problems. I have executed rescues at least 7 times during Sahyadri and Himalayan expeditions, where I have saved either limb or life. So that is that I can go on telling, but not now. So now I am faculty, honorary faculty for that diploma mountain course, and I should mention one interesting thing. During COVID days it started, and it was all online. Nobody could gather at one place. And now that all restrictions are lifted up, students from various areas, and some of them are from abroad also, now they have insisted that the lecture and theory part should be online. So I take online lectures, and I meet them only twice a year for the practical training of treating wounds and carrying an injured person, and so on and so forth, giving oxygen and all that. So theory lectures are online, and practical training is here in Pune once, and of course then they go to basic mountaineering course at Uttarkashi. So I am faculty there.
So you already spoke about physical fitness and the importance of healthy lifestyle. Are would you like to enlist maybe 3 mental qualities required to perform well and sustain in your professional as well as personal life?
I remember one quote: what mind can conceive and believe, body can achieve. What mind can conceive and believe, body can achieve. If you conceive certain idea that a sports person will dream of being an Olympian, so that concept has to be born in your mind first, that aim. Of course, everybody cannot be an Olympian or a Everester or a great surgeon, but you have to have conception or creation of aim in your mind. That is step number 1. Then you should have a belief in that. Unless you believe that you can become like that, you cannot achieve that. And achievement is at body level, no? Because body has to perform, it has to toil, it has to be disciplined. So that is the third phase, which is the most important one. But unless that idea or goal is conceived in your mind, it cannot be pursued and achieved. So that is the summary. So you initially you have to have good and high goal. They also say that low aim is a crime. So you try to, it cannot be the highest, but it has to be high at least. So your goal should be reasonably high in your field. Then you work towards it, and someday during your career you will achieve it. Sometimes it is very early, sometimes it is very late, but it will happen. You have to have that positive attitude. And of course, healthy lifestyle cannot be overemphasized. It is necessary for everybody. Whatever be your profession, whatever be your hobby, without health, you cannot do anything. There are many people around us which are very successful in their business, profession, whatever they are. They have earned money which is beyond their own expectations also. But they are in such a state of health that they cannot enjoy that wealth. And wealth cannot be, health cannot be bought. Previously, there was a saying that पैशाचं सोंग आणता येणं अवघड असतं. कशाचंही सोंग आणता येणं पण पैशाचं नाही, कारण इट वॉज डिफिकल्ट टाईम टू गेट मनी. नाव इट इज रिव्हर्स वे राऊंड. यू कॅनॉट प्रिटेंड टू बी हेल्दी. हेल्थचं सोंग आणता येत नाही. पैसे मिळतात, बॉरो करता येतात, तुम्हाला बँका येऊन घरी लोन देऊ शकतात, पण तुम्हाला हेल्थ अचीव करायची असेल तर तुम्हाला ती सवय. त्यामुळे हे जसं आहे की करिअर आणि हॉबीमधलं गोल अचीव करणं, त्याला पॅरलल तुमची हेल्दी लाईफस्टाईलच तुम्हाला लाँग सॅटिस्फाईड लाईफ देणार आहे. विदाउट हेल्थ देअर कॅनॉट बी एन्जॉयमेंट ऑफ द वेल्थ.
Is there anything that you would like to share that is interesting and intriguing about you which others are not aware of? And also, after this, if you could tell us about this collection of memorabilia which we can see on the wall, that would be really interesting.
The first question is a difficult one. You have asked, is there anything of my personality or personal life which others don't know?
Which others don't know and which you would like to share?
I would like to share, to sum up whatever life I have spent so far. There is one famous English poet or writer, I don't remember the name, but I remember the quote. There were two paths in the wood. One was the straightforward and well-trodden. The other was difficult and unknown. I chose the latter. And that has made all the difference. So, taking new challenges, going to unknown territories, these are basic instincts of human being, but they are predominantly present in only some individuals. They are then called as path breakers, explorers. They have out of the box thinking. What others have not done, I want to do. What others have not seen, I want to see. What others have not experienced, I want to experience. So I think I belong to that type of a personality where out of the box thinking and some urge to do something challenging and unusual. So in human mind study, they have described that some persons are like that. So I belong to that person type of personality. So that's why I have taken some difficult situations. I have pursued some difficult paths which are thought to be very unusual or even abnormal by normal people. Initially, I remember that going for hiking or trekking, we used to be scolded by many people that these people are escapists. They don't want to study, they don't want to do normal duties towards family. That's why they are going outdoors. So there is also truth in their saying. So if I do only those things and ignore normal duty, it is like that. So this is that answer to your question, that what is different in your personality and achievement. I think it is mainly genetic. You are born with certain set of things. I remember in my school days, even my father used to take us to not very frequently visited places and routine places. No, when we went to this Bhandardara resort, he took us to Kalsubai, which is highest peak of Sahyadri mountains. So it was summertime, it was very difficult. We almost cried going to the top. But my father took me and my younger sister to top of Kalsubai. So through that, so this runs in families. My grandfather used to jump in flooded Mutha river from Sambhaji Bridge and go swimming up to Omkareshwar temple. So that is a great courageous act. There is a risk to life in that. No, somebody will say, these are mad people. Why they are risking their life? So it is genetically built in certain families and certain personalities, and I belong to that type of a family where adventure, going outdoors and going out of the way things are there. It is not my achievement, but it is half of it is genetic, and half of it also, yeah, what I do depends on that part. So I used to like those things, and I pursued. So this particular piece of say show and demonstration is recently assembled. So these are the weapons, coins, medals, and mementos of 6 generations. My great grandfather, my grandfather, my father, myself, my son, and my grandson. So these items and things were scattered in our ancestral home, which is more than 100 years old, and I gathered them and placed them in a decorative fashion. Initially during the COVID days, but very recently it has been finalized, and I can explain some of the things. This is Rao Bahadur Medal achieved by my great grandfather because he was in the British service. He was Assistant Commissioner of Pune when he retired. So this is Rao Bahadur Medal given by during the British Raj. These are the medals in hockey and some other games which are from my grandfather. And this is the house built by my father at Lonavala. Everything built as a person. No engineer, no architect involved. Just as a one creation out of. Then this is the thing which through Rotary International they had visited England and won a match against English team, English Rotary team. So that is that. Then this is a special Sasu Sun Samanvay Puraskar. My wife and my mother, we had a joint family, and they co-lived and merrily enjoyed joint family more than 25 years. So both of them got this joint award. Then these are the physical efficiency, 3 stars, no, junior and senior, which I got from Government of India. They used to test your physical efficiency and give these 3-star medals. Now this discontinued. Just like elementary, intermediate drawing examination. Similarly, physical efficiency, those are the 3 stars. Then these are the Himalayan Club, being secretary for a long time, that is one thing. Then best outgoing student medal from BJ Medical College. Then I was president of Pune Surgical Society and did many things so far which they have given that. International College of Surgeon Fellowship I got as an honorary one. This one is presented to me by Lama of Rongbuk Monastery in Tibet, which is China. That is near the North Everest base camp. So I was there on one expedition, and that is from Tibet, China. This is a memento. Very recently got, there was a golden jubilee of our admission to BJ Medical College. 50 years complete. And I was one of the organizers there. So that is that memento. And these are some fountain pens presented to me. So this is a very priceless collection. And I'm sure many houses have many such things. They are lying here and there, but they should be preserved like this. So it becomes inspiration for next generation. And the most important is this sword. Now this sword is traditionally there in our family for more than maybe 300 years from Peshwa regime. So this sword importance is, this is the sword which is used in actual battle. It is a lightweight sword with very sharp edge. So this is not an ornamental sword which is seen in the photographs. This is the sword which has participated in actual battles. So this weapon is called Gupti. So that is a sharp weapon which is hidden inside this stick. So these are from our forefathers. And of course for next generations, this is one. Goshta ithe sampat nahi. So there is some extra space which is empty. So my son, grandson can add things here.
I would really like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this interview. We exceeded the time. I think it's been more than 1.5 hours, and you really spoke from the heart. Your responses were very candid and honest, and I'm sure the viewers would enjoy listening to all the aspects of your personality, be it your medical career, your mountaineering, or other personal aspects. So thank you very much for doing this interview.
I also feel very happy and privileged to be interviewed by youngsters like you. Thank you.